guys, we've been spending some time here in San Rafael Swell, and right next to me I have Ken Hoagland, and I've been actually spending 3 days with you, right?
Yeah, it's been great having you.
Awesome, and thanks for having me. It's been tons of fun, and we've actually been hitting this trail for 3 days as well.
3 days, yeah. This particular trail is called Eagles Canyon.
Okay.
And the most spectacular part that I really enjoy of this is just going through this canyon right here, going underneath these bridges.
It's actually crazy to hear the trucks. Look, there's one right there.
Yeah.
Just passing by, it makes a crazy sound. And right behind us, guys, is his Tacoma. It's a second gen 2015.
Yeah, 2015 TRD off-road. Yep. And I know a lot of people go for the sport, but I opted for the off-road when I chose it because I wanted the rear lockers and then the skid plate, which obviously the skid plate I've changed out since.
What do you have now?
I have the CBI Overland skid plates. I have the full set from front to back and fully protected.
How do you like it so far?
You know, that was actually the first investment I made for you know, off-roading in my truck. You know, I did a tonneau cover. You know, I pulled out the cheap stuff first. I did tires, tonneau cover. I did the mat in the back, and then I was like, with all the trails that I was hitting and all the rocks I was kicking up, I made that initial investment for the skid plates. And you know, I think someone starting out, you know, they should seriously consider even that before sliders, because you're protecting your undercarriage.
Definitely. I mean, if you're gonna do wheeling and you wanna, you know, start out, just see where you're at, definitely get a skid plate and sliders. I also think that.
Yep.
What do you have up in the front?
I have the Moab 2.0 Grille, you know, with the Grille cover, steel bumper from CBI. I have the Heretic 20-inch amber light, and then hidden in there is the Warren 10S Platinum Xeon winch, which is nice. It's the remote control, you know, the wireless one.
Oh, nice.
That's one of the items that if I was stuck somewhere, and I'm usually wheeling with my kids. You know, I have 4 kids, and 3 of them usually go with me. And the last thing I would want to do, being a solo driver, solo adventurist, is to be stuck somewhere.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have recovery gear that's kind of geared towards me. A lot of the things that I have, a lot of people wouldn't do, but you know, I have a Deadman anchor. Again, that's one of those self-recovery tools like MacTrax that if you're ever stuck by yourself out in the middle of nowhere, you're gonna wish you had it. So I haven't had to use the Deadman, for example, but it's there for the day I need it.
Dude,
I'm sure I'll need it.
I saw it, the position that you have it in. It's actually pretty cool out in the back.
It's smiling behind me. Yeah.
It's really nice. So for the sliders, did you also decide to go with CBI?
Yeah, all the sliders, it's a steel with the top plate cover on it, also CBI. The only skid plate that I have, 3 skid plates that aren't, you know, that are underneath that aren't CBI. I have a gas cover that was actually Pelfrey, Pelfrey built, and you know, for our trucks, it's just you know, the standard that comes with the truck is just a plastic cover. Have you ever looked under there? It's a plastic cover, and I was like,
it's crazy. What
if I land on a rock and I lose all my gas? I don't know. I'm just one of those guys that think about that stuff.
Yeah,
so I
better be safe than sorry, right?
Yeah, and I got one of those. I don't know anyone else that's making the gas skid plate.
I honestly, I think RCI might be doing it, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, talking about RCI, I have their rear diff cover, which gets me over the rocks. You know, I've hit that thing a couple times.
Yeah, how does it hold up?
Really well made. And then I also have the Bay Area metal fabrication, the BAMF.
Yeah. I saw those.
The lower control arm skid plates are real beefy steel. They're like a 1/4-inch steel. You know, I haven't actually landed on them. They're actually pretty clean. But again, it's one of those items that it's going to protect my undercarriage.
Yeah, dude. Again, better be safe than sorry. What about the Snorkel?
The Snorkel. So it's a safari snorkel. Made by ARB. I have it tied in with the Volant Cold Air intake. I have their latest edition. It's kind of cool. You know, it does, you know, it ties in nicely with the Snorkel. You know, and not too much different than the OEM, but it makes it a little throaty sound. Like,
yeah, I have heard that. Going through the trail, it does sound throaty.
Yeah.
You have a Prince roof rack, I see. What do you have on top of it?
Yeah, I have the Pelican Case, and I have recovery gear that I'm not going to use very often. I have 2 sets of snow chains. Right now, 1 set of snow chains is with me. I'm using it to kind of blaze the trail that we're on, and the other set, if I ever needed it, you know, for the front tires, is up top. The reason I have the chains that for this trail on the back tires is as you're going around turns, you don't want to be like fishtailing.
Yeah.
It's better to be pushing the car forward rather than pulling it.
Yeah, dude, no, and I've been seeing you going through the trail. It's been doing great so far.
Yeah. Also on top I have a shovel, which doesn't look like it's there. I probably threw it in my truck bed, and I also have an axe.
Okay.
One thing I've thought about doing eventually is get a chainsaw. Because some of the trails in Utah, believe it or not, after a snow they'll get broken. They'll cover the trail, and nothing's worse than getting there and you're like, all right, getting out my axe, here I go.
Yeah. Or just having to turn back around. I mean, I went to Big Bear and there was this guy that had an electric one.
Yeah.
Everybody laughed at him, but it did a solid job.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The Milwaukee makes one that I've been eyeing. It's not cheap, but it's also battery powered, and they work really well. They just cut right through it.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
What are you rocking for the back?
The back, I have the Bushmaster 2.0. For CBI, that 2.0 just means second gen. So I have the second gen high clearance bumper, and it's tied in with the dual swing. I'll even, I don't carry a table with me in my bed. I know you carry a table.
I don't even know why I brought it up, honestly.
But occasionally I will have dinner just sitting right there at the table with my camp chair. I'll eat right there on the table.
No,
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. When I cook, I grill with the Scottle, so I'm not using that table to cook on.
Okay.
So
like I do.
Yeah.
I took up that table, but definitely have a lot more space, and I really like it. Is there anything that Overland bed rack? We almost mentioned Overland bed rack.
Yeah. So the bed rack is Lightning Designs. I have their active cargo. One thing that's really nice about it is, I can't say enough good things about this Lightner design. I'm not sponsored by him. He doesn't pay me to say that. I love it. It's one of the only racks that actually ties down into the frame of the truck. It takes the weight off the rails and goes to the frame. The whole thing probably only weighs maybe 80 to 100 pounds. It comes with 2 crossbars. I've opted to get a third crossbar because I'm a little heavier. I've gone camping with my brother who's just as big as me, and 3 of my kids, and it's held up just fine. Also in my within the bed rack, I have the extra large gear pod, which is just go from it's basically 5 foot long. It goes the whole length of the bed.
Sweet.
I have tons of gear in there, and then on the other side, on this side of the truck, I have the Max Tracks and a 4-gallon Rotopax.
Cool.
So I got tons of gas to carry with me. Inside of the bed, I have a RCI high lift mount that's just mounted. My CBI bumper allows me to put my high lift on the bumper, but I've opted just to keep the RCI mount because that was the investment I made before the bumper, just to keep the weight a little further up and to keep it so it doesn't get all salt and gummed up when you're driving down the road.
Oh, definitely, man. And did you install it yourself?
I did install it myself. Yeah, the mount and the bed rack. Along with my dad and one of my friends did the bed rack together. Yeah, suspension wise, I have the ARB Old Man Emu BP 51 suspension. It's fully adjustable. I really like it. It handles those bumps. It still rides like a truck, but it's aggressive enough, and I could adjust it for the compression, to hard compression or soft compression, and it's really nice. It's really nice.
That's awesome. I mean, I saw you going through the trails, and it looks extremely smooth.
Yeah. In the back, I have the Dakar leaf springs, the heavy-duty leaf springs, and I've also added a leaf. The back of my truck is pretty heavy, so that's still one area that I want to kind of pinpoint and figure out. Do I want to go with different leaf springs? Something, because I have easily, probably 500-600 pounds back there always, between the bumper, the tent.
What are you leaning towards?
There's a couple of them, and I can't think of them off the top of my head, but there's a couple of leaf springs that are geared towards 700 weight limit up to 1,000.
Yeah, the Deaver Stage 3.
Devers.
Those I would definitely recommend.
Deaver Stage 3 Expedition,
yeah,
right?
I'm rocking the Devers Stage 2.
Stage 2.
Yeah, but I should have gone Stage 3, I believe. I mean, I added tons of weight on mine.
Yeah. No, and I think Devers will also make a custom one for you too.
Yeah, they're willing
You
to
could
work.
send them your weight, and I might need to go that route. Because even though I need new leaf springs for the extra weight, it's still kind of one side or the other. I got a taco leaf, I just can't get rid of that.
Yeah.
Talking about the leaves, the leaf springs, on the back there's the shackle that the leaf springs attached to. I had those grinded off, and there's an archive. There's a fabrication company out of New York that makes hangers, hammer hangers,
Okay.
and that's just kind of an extra protection for the leaves, and it allows it to articulate even more. And I opted for the crossbar which is kind of like an extra sway bar for the truck to minimize body roll. I know a lot of people talk about, oh, take up the sway bar.
You have it in the front?
I have both of them.
I took mine off in the second gen. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm not taking it off in the third though. I feel like I want it nice and
Yeah.
not
So I
taking
mean,
it
there's
out.
different opinions. I like it, you know, and with how heavy my truck is, I kind of feel it.
Oh, definitely. Now let's talk interior. I did see that you have the Expedition Essentials
Yep.
interior.
The second gen T-PAM,
Yes, there you go.
the Toyota powered accessory mounts. And
Yes. How do you like it so far?
you
It
know,
looks really nice on the
I
second gen.
really like it. You know, before I struggled where to put my phone. A lot of the time I would just kind of put it up in front of me,
I think we all,
and it would
we all
slide.
did that before.
Man, it was a
before they
mess.
came up with that mount.
It was a mess. It was a mess. It was very straightforward to install. The owner Jeff has a great installation video, and I can't say enough good things about it. So one thing I did in January that I've been waiting for is the nitro gears. I re-geared my truck, and talking about my ARB air compressor is that I have it set up also for my front lockers.
Okay.
So when I re-geared to the nitro gears, I went to a 4:5:6 ratio, and I had them also install the front lockers.
And how do you like the 456 so far?
You know, a lot of people say you should go 488, and a lot of those people say they're going to go 35-inch tires. I kind of like my stance. I don't know that I'm going to necessarily lift it any higher.
What's your tire size?
285, so 33s, right?
Okay. Yep.
Any taller up, the taller you are, the more tippy you get on trails. And for what we've been doing, you know, that's the last thing you want, you know, on the trails that I go on. I mean, everyone builds the way they want to. You know, that was kind of like my aim, to go 456 and keep the tire size that I have. Before I installed the bumpers, I realized that I was going to have the steel bumpers. One thing I don't want to be worried, one thing I'm never really worried about is weight of my truck. I go with the steel over the aluminum. I want the best protection. But with that, you put a lot more weight on your truck and you have less stopping power with the brake pads that come with it. So I went with the big brake kit with Stoptech.
Okay.
And that's been a great, you know, investment.
Did you feel the difference?
Big time. Yeah, they catch. They bite instantly. You know, there's no like slowing down. Like you're feeling like it's not going to stop you.
Okay. So, Ken, how did you get into overlanding? How did it all start?
You know, it's funny. I was a recent college student. My wife and I had been living in Colorado for 3 years, and we just moved back to Utah. And I was driving, believe it or not, a Mazda Protege. And I don't come from a truck family, so I'm still learning as I go. I never really grew up with friends that had trucks.
That's cool, man.
When I grew up where I grew up in California, you know, my brother had a nice T-Bird, you know, lowered, you know, got the bumping radio. So my brother had a Civic, you know, that was kind of my thing. I never really thought about trucks, but when I moved back to Utah, driving this Mazda Protege, I just wanted to explore the mountains. So I get on these bumpy roads, get the Mazda all dirty. I mean,
I can see how you got tempted.
yeah. So I knew I wanted the truck, and you know, I know a lot of my friends at the time had Jeeps, and nothing wrong with Jeeps, but I wanted the truck bed.
Yeah.
And at the time I went with the Tacoma, and but my wife at the time was like, all right, so we have 2 kids and 1 on the way. I'll let you get a truck if you could fit 3 car seats in the back seat. I'm serious. This is the actual conversation we had. And I started researching it, and I found on Amazon this company called Diono, D-I-O-N-O, that sells these compact car seats, and they gear them. They advertise them for a 3 across in a Civic. They're not cheap. They're like $300 a pop. They're like,
snap.
yeah.
And you went for it.
I went for it. I'm like, I want a truck. Challenge accepted.
Were those the ones that I saw in
Yeah.
place?
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Yep. Yeah. I got 3 across, and it's been a beautiful thing to take my kids off-roading. I mean, a lot of the time I'm off-roading with my kids, but the real reason I enjoy going off-road is, you know, I really enjoy being in nature, photographing nature. In Utah, we just got tons and tons of trails. I mean, endless trails. I love, I've always been into photography and like nature photography. I love taking photographs of wildlife. We got moose in Utah. We also got wild horses.
Ooh, it got cold, man.
And we also have heavy wind
Yeah, dude.
blowing us over.
Definitely, it's really cold. One really cool thing, guys, that I really liked about Ken's truck is he shares his patch collection with his kids, and they're kind of like in this competition to see who has more patches and which one, you know, it's really cool.
Yeah.
And they each have their section, so as they're in their car seats, they have their patch collection, and I thought that was really cool.
It's gotten me in a lot of trouble. Believe it or not, like I will get a new patch and like they'll start fighting over it. No, I want that one. I was like, kids, I got it for me. Like this is my patch.
So now you gotta get 3.
Yeah, it happened recently. I got a patch of Tacoma truck of Scooby-Doo. Like it was something. It was like something ridiculous, and it was the Ghostbusters. That's what it was. It was the Ghostbusters.
Oh, I saw that. That was cool.
And the kids fought over that, so I ended up buying 2 more. Yep.
Cool, man.
Yep.
Well, there you guys have it. Right next to me, again, we have Ken Hoogland. Awesome dude. If you guys are ever in Utah, make sure to, you know, shoot him a DM. I'm gonna make sure to put a link to his Instagram below. Make sure to check out his page. Really cool dude. Next stop, we're going to Oregon. I'll see you guys on the next video.
Thanks.